Only one thing in life is certain: death. And while this fact makes most people concerned about their own deaths, for me it means something different. The certainty of death means that the people that I love will die, and many of them will probably die before me. I've always thought that it is more difficult to watch someone die, to be the one who stays behind and grieves, rather than to be the one who dies himself. I'm not at all saying that death is easy to face, but you do at least have one consolation. It ends, and then comes maybe nothing, maybe an eternal sleep, maybe an eternal paradise, maybe even eternal suffering. But even in that case, I think most of us would rather suffer ourselves than have to watch someone we love suffer. And that's what makes it hard to watch someone die. For those of us who stay behind, who suffer the loss, death is not the end of pain. It's the beginning of pain. It introduces a new and prolonged period of suffering. You feel anger, guilt, anxiety, maybe despair. Maybe you can't sleep, you can't eat, you may even get physically sick. And you might feel this way for weeks or months. Something happens to your mind and body that you can't explain. We call this grief. And what a lot of people don't understand is that grief isn't just something that we feel. It affects our experience of reality and how we see the world. Just listen to how one philosopher described the grief he experienced after he lost one of his dearest friends. With this grief, my heart was steeped in shadow. Look where I would, I saw only death. My own town became a torture room to me. My home was haunted by sorrow. My eyes darted everywhere to find him, but found him not. And I hated all places because he was not in them. I became a conundrum to myself. Weeping was my only comfort. It alone took the place of my friend. I seethed, gasped, cried, was distraught without sleep. Everything disgusted me, even the light of day. Grief poisons everything we do, makes everything bitter, makes everything shadowy and disgusting. But why does it do this to us? For Augustine of Hippo, the philosopher I just quoted, the reason grief affects us so profoundly, the reason our lives seem shattered, is because we not only lose someone we love, but in a sense, we lose a part of ourselves as well. Well was it said of a friend that he is the soul's other half. My soul and his I considered one soul in two bodies. So my life was now a horror to me, because I did not want to live as half a self. The feeling of being a half-self perfectly captures the unique pain of grief. There is a hole in your life, an emptiness, a brokenness. Augustine would use the same language again to describe another great loss in his life, this time the death of his mother. The two of them were very close, and her loss was a difficult and unexpected blow. He was just 31 years old when the two of them were traveling home from Italy, and without warning she suddenly fell ill and passed away. He remembers the exact moment she died by saying, "As I closed her eyes, a great sorrow flooded my chest, producing a flood of tears. The child in me, which had been melting into tears, had to be restrained and silenced by the adult voice of my heart." Why was I inwardly shaken with grief? To be instantly torn away from accustomed joys of sweet and treasured concourse leaves a fresh wound. To lose that solicitude wounded my soul, as if tearing my life in two, a life made up of us both. Augustine believed that love was not just an emotion, but a uniting force. Reciprocated love fuses separate sparks into a single glow. No longer many souls, but one. That is what love of friends means. No wonder then that there is grief for the friend who dies, a darkness of sorrow over all, the heart melting to tears as the sweet becomes bitter, the life lost to death, making others' lives a kind of death. When two people enter a relationship, they don't live two lives, they live a single life. We are not simply individuals. Our lives are made up of the people we love. And when one of them leaves, that life is torn. That's why it hurts to lose someone. When a loved one dies, a part of you dies. John Donne famously wrote, "No man is an island. Ask not for whom the bell tolls. It tolls for thee." And psychologically speaking, that might be more literal than we think. When we lose someone we love, we lose a part of ourselves.